Hello Unity developers, in this video I'm showing you how to create texture arrays, which is important when you are using multi-texture in URP or HDRP. It was requested by the community because many are struggling to figuring out how to create those Texture2Ds which are required for this material here, which is this multi-texture HDRP. You can see here the sample scene from Voxel, which is here. This is when you unpack the multi-texture package for HDRP. You have this sample here. It contains Voxel with 8 layers. Here you can see I can paint the layers. Here I can paint some grass, some rocks. Yeah. So basically this thing here has 8 layers, and you can see here the hull generator, which is modularly, of course, the modular one, which uses margin cubes, GPU. You can change this if you want. The most important thing is the multi-texture version 2. It has here 12 slots, but the material itself uses 8. So those first 8 are actually used, and those 4 basically are unused. Here I have a cube UV to have cube coordinates. You can see it here. Yeah. Now let's check out the material. Here we have the material. This Fractalia core, multi-texture, HDRP, and we have here the blend. There's the triplanar one, but we are using the one which is UV coordinates. So when you see this shader here, you have here the 6 maps which are common for texturing: diffuse map, which is a main map, bump map, height, metallic gloss, emission, and this occlusion map. And you can see here these are texture arrays. So when you have when you're working with texture arrays, you cannot simply create them, as the unit does not provide you any way to create those Texture2D arrays. So let's try to recreate this thing here. Let's select the material, and I duplicate this now. So we have here this material you want to play around with, and now let's assume that you have no Texture2D area. So for this I remove it. So here we have the base material, we keep it that way. Those are normal Texture2Ds. You can simply assign the texture. This is no issue, no problem. But the first thing what we need to do is, of course, disable the emission, because otherwise the texture is simply white. Now let's assign this material, and you can see, you can even see here the layering, but because we have no texture assigned, it has this greenish, this weird color. Yeah, it is actually the reflection from the skybox. And what we now want to do is we want to create a texture array. For example, for the diffuse map. For this we have here a tool, which is a tools Fractalia, and here we have the texture array creator, which is this tool here. So what can you do here? First we can here assign materials, but this I explain this later. The main thing is here basically. You have here arrays which you can fill. In this case, I say here I want to create 4 layers with 4 textures. The first layer will be this texture. The second layer will be this texture. The third layer, I take now whatever we want. It's this. And one layer is, let's say, this, for example. So we have here assigned now 4 textures. Next, we have to define the output path. Select output path. We say the assets folder and name test texture array. Okay, that's fine. Hit this texture array button, and it has created now the texture array. You can see the message saved asset. Test texture array. This is now here. You can see here this texture has 4 slices, and each slice is now 1 layer. Okay, now let's select this material here. It's this material here, and we assign this now. Let's say assign it. So what you can see here now, you see here the 4 layers. This, and the layer 1 is this here. Layer 2 is this. Layer 3 is this, and layer 4 is this. So since we have 8 layers, 5, 6, 7, 8, because it has only 4 layers, the texture array. In this case, we are not using layer 5, 6, 7, and 8. In this case, it uses the highest texture slice, which is the slice 3, which is this ice here. So let's open this tool again here and continue to fill up the content. Basically, it is actually supposed to fill it with the naming, to fill it with occlusion textures, but I don't do that now here. I just randomly select textures and hope that everything looks fine. So I have now 8 textures. In this case, only I misuse this now for a diffuse color. Create texture array, and it's done. So of course, what we can see here, okay, now we have to, because it was regenerated, we have to assign it again, and you can see here the 8 colors. Now let's say you don't want to swap it out all the time. Sometimes this works. Check if maximum can assign not a text. Okay, this does not work with HDRP. With the normal, it works that when you assign it, if you have a non HDRP or URP material assigned, basically you can select it and it would assign automatically. Since it doesn't do that, you have to assign it manually. Here, basically. So now the next thing here. The next thing what you want. For example, if you say you have 8 materials, you have this ice material here, you have ice, you have here grass, it uses those textures, you have this texture here, you have this one, you have this one. Basically, those are the standard shaders. You can set here the materials. Basically, you know, this is the height map, metallic, normal, height, occlusion. So what I can do here now, basically, I can select here the individual materials, and now I say here extract materials, and it will fill in all those textures areas automatically. Otherwise you would have to do this manually. And now if I say let's say this is the final, I want to use this. Basically here you can even design basically what the smoothness space is. So some are metallic alpha, some materials are albedo alpha. And if I create now the texture areas, it takes a while. You can see here. Next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. and it's done. You can see in the log files we have here that created the assets here. They are not here, and here they are. Diffuse maps, emission maps, emission map. I think, yeah, the lava has emission, height map, metallic, and so on. Now let's assign them. We assign this to diffuse map. You can already see the ones. The normal map is the bump map. We have the emission goes here. Occlusion goes here. The metallic goes here. And then we have at last the height map. So here we have lava because we have emission. We have also to increase this one. If it's too strong, we can say intensity. And you can see here now we have our 8 textures, 8 layers plus the base layer. I can recommend you to make the base layer something like grass or something common, some basic rock-like material. And here you have it. We have now the texture area creator. This is all is extracted automatically. Also, you can even colorize the base texture. You can here change the metallic emission. This is all stuff you can change, but I would keep it as white. The metallic usually is the color, and this is the glossiness. The alpha is used for glossiness. Emission, you can see here, yeah, it's black because the first 6 materials have it disabled. You can see it here. Yeah. What of course I'm not sure. I have not tested it if it is a lit shader, if it can extract. It's where is it? This I can try it out. Let's say, for example, this is called. Here is this lit. This is the standard. I think maybe they have renamed it. Bend normal map. Yeah, they have different names. I don't think that this will work. They have here this mask, whatever this is. I have no idea what this is. So basically, I stick with the normal materials, the standard materials. It is designed for the standard shader actually, because the naming, accessing the textures is not so easy with HDRP and URP. So I hope this clarifies how to use this little tool here. You can even save here the template. So for example, this template I can say save profile. And here's the template, and I save the profile. Here is the profile. So basically I can assign this. You can see I can even switch between the profiles, so you can save the settings here. Yeah. It even has more features. For example, it even allows you to create texture atlas. For example, here, if you have 4 text, if you have 8, I can try. Let's do it. Create texture atlas. Then you can see it. This is also a tool. If you ever use texture atlases, for example, mobile, or if you have some target device which does not support textures like WebGL. It does not work in WebGL. So you need this texture atlas in this case. And with the texture atlas, you get quite big textures because it has to pack them into one texture. Look, here we have the material now, and when you see this is now the material, we can see here, of course, those are the 8 layers, and of course the rest, if you have some weird material which has 16 layers, it's in HDRP it's not possible to have 16 layers, but if you have some other material which has it, you can have 16 layers. Yeah, and you can see that this is the texture atlas. Yeah, this is it. I hope you understand now how to create texture arrays. It's here. It's here, tools, Fractale, texture array creator, and here you can fill in the stuff, and you can also create 3D textures. This also works. Then you have a 3D texture. Yeah, but texture arrays are actually better because the problem is 3D textures, you cannot compress them. Or Unity does not allow to compress it. Those two are compressed. 3D textures are not compressed. Okay, so I hope you liked this tutorial. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.